Right. Good afternoon, everyone, or morning if you're dialing from the West Coast. Thank you very much for joining us today in this webinar. My name is Josette Lowo, and I'm the Professional Development Coordinator at CMC Canada. We are very excited to have you with us today as we introduce our latest Affinity partner, Erickson Coaching. I have the pleasure of introducing today's speaker, Nancy Boyer. And Nancy is a sales and business growth advisor at Erickson. She is also a facilitator, a mentor, and professional certified coach. Nancy is a business coach who started her coaching career as a performance coach and learned to implement solution-focused coaching skills and the Ericksonian principles into her practice. We will hear from Nancy how Erickson supports CMC Canada members, the role of coaching, and its long-term benefit for individuals and organizations. You will also learn about Erickson coaching programs, ROI insights, and steps to earn your international coach certification credential. We'll have a Q&A session at the end, but please feel free to submit your questions at any time using the Zoom Q&A function or the chat, and we will address as many as possible during the Q&A. We also have a guest speaker who Nancy will be introducing later on. But for now, Nancy, thank you very much for being here and for preparing this presentation for our members. Welcome, and over to you.
Thank you, Josette. It's our honor to be here in partnership with CMC. Thank you for having us. I'm very excited and honored to represent Erickson Coaching International because I'm an alumni of Erickson Coaching International, and I'm also, as Josette said, a facilitator, mentor, and professional certified coach. So you'll see my passion come out. A little bit about Erickson. We're going on 45 years next year. We're super, super excited about that. And we have over 55,000 graduates. Our graduates are throughout the whole world. I'll just go quickly back to this slide so you can see where we are in 40 countries, 18 languages. We have partners, we have facilitators, we have learners everywhere. So it's a really great community to be a part of as well. And we really focus on one conversation at a time, changing the world one conversation at a time. And that's why we do what we do. You can imagine that people come to us, they want to either expand or maybe they want to move forward, and we help them through solution-focused methodologies that I'll talk about that really help them move forward. We don't provide answers, we ask questions. And as you can see, Ashka's with us today, and she went through our program, so she's going to speak in just a moment a little bit about her experience and how she brings that together as a consultant as well. So with that, I'm so thrilled and honored to share with you because this is new news for us and quite an honor. We just were awarded the winner of the 2024 ICF International Coach Federation Impact Award, and that's really a distinguished honor. It definitely shows our partnership with the ICF, which has been over 20 years, and the commitment to what we do for our learners and everyone around the world that has really helped us to achieve this. So I really want to thank Heidi, who's on this call, and everyone else that played a role in that. We're super honored and wanted to share that with you because it is something to be proud of. With that, how we might support you, professional development wise, coaching wise, training wise. We have the art and science of coaching, which I'm going to go into in more detail. We have team coaching, facilitation, and presentation. Sometimes people are at different levels in their position, and they would like more specifics about how to present, how to have that confidence when presenting, etc. We have short-term courses as well, like emotional intelligence, for example. So we could definitely just explore together what would be right for you and anyone that you support as well. We do a lot of organizational training and development. I'll show you a list of our organizations in just a moment and make it specific to them if needed, or some come right into our programs. And we have executive and team coaching. I personally am an executive and business coach. I do that internally as well as externally. So it's really amazing, the opportunity. really the results are here in organizations. 61% increase in job satisfaction, 67% increase in teamwork. So you can really see what happens when you apply coaching in a culture. And I've seen many organizations, it's been fun working for Erickson to really see cultures change, companies grow, leadership grow through a coach approach of asking instead of telling. So that's super exciting to see. And I think it's going to continue to increase from what I see working with different individuals, different coaches at different organizations, or even entrepreneurs. So with that, these are the companies that we support. The biggest one that I'd like to call your attention to is SAP. SAP has sent more than 600 of their team members and leaders through our program and continue to do so. And then they take so many hours and give back at work by coaching individuals in-house, internally. And you can see many others that we're very happy to have these partnerships. Zoetis, that was something that I got to experience myself. We developed a curriculum and took it to 4 countries for them. It was one of my favorite things. Cartier's on the list because they came through our program. I supported them as a facilitator, also a business manager. Then I went to work for them for a couple of years and came back to Erickson for my passion. So a lot happens that really you can't even imagine. We have many courses that, the benefits of the training and the courses that support that improve communication. If people are listening at a different level, you're definitely going to have improved communication. That self-awareness, when you're in our program, you're coaching and you're being coached. It's a really great benefit of our program. So really to have that increased awareness and reflection time, because usually we're giving to others, and you all know that from your profession. Better stress management. Even when I'm in my company, people are talking about how do I deal with this stress, and coaching is a great way to do that. Goal achievement, stretching. We look for future focused, we're possibility focused, discovery, exploration. So everything is about the future and moving forward, not the past. And then conflict resolution. If you can bring 2 people together to really both be heard and feel heard, then that's also going to support better relationships. So those are definitely some of the benefits of training for executives and leaders as well. So I want to hand it over. I'm very honored to introduce Ashka Work, who is one of the people in your organization. I'll let her say more about herself, but I know and spoke to Ashka and spent some time with her that you have gone through our program, as well as you see how to bring coaching and consulting together. And at this time, we'll also put her podcast in our chat so that you can reference that if people want to go explore that even more as well. So Ashka, I'd hand it over to you. Oh, and we can't hear you right yet. Thank you.
All right. Awesome. Thank you. All right. Thanks, Nancy. And thanks, Josette, for helping put this on and for inviting me to speak. I will just take a few minutes just to share my experience with coaching and consulting. So my name is Ashka Work. I'm the principal of Work Consulting based in Victoria. We are I'm a certified management consultant through CMC Canada. And then I'm also a certified executive coach through the International Coaching Federation. I did my training to earn that designation through Erickson International. So I took their art and science of coaching offering and have really found the approach of coaching to enhance the way that I do my consulting. So I'm in my practice at Work Consulting. We're management consultants, so we offer strategy development, team and leader development, and then we also have a practice area around executive coaching. So, but often in my work, the two really speak to each other. Just as a bit of a preamble, I was a management consultant well before I learned about coaching, and I was exposed to coaching as someone who was as a coachee. And once I had that experience of being coached, I was absolutely hooked, and I learned more about it and the philosophy behind coaching, and then pursued my coaching certification. And as with, as with earning our CMC designation and that process, the coaching certification process is quite a rigorous one, but an investment that I'm really proud of having made, and for me and my firm, one that's paid back in spades. And I'm really speaking to an audience of consultants, so I won't really talk about what consulting is. I mean, we all know that we're brought in by our clients to address specific and tangible issues and to achieve certain goals that our clients are looking for. And we're asked to bring expertise that we have to bring to the table, whether that's expertise in a process like strategy or process design or change management, or on a particular subject area like whatever HR or customer experience or finance. But really, our clients are bringing us in to share with them and often tell them how they should move forward. And coaching is quite different from consulting. The ICF defines coaching as partnering with our clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. And that's like really the foundation of the difference between coaching and consulting. And the reason I think that they work really well together, I found that coaching and consulting work beautifully together. And I'm not suggesting that we would like embed or infuse coaching methodology, which if you take the Erickson International offerings, you'll get some details on what that is into our consulting methodology. But I think there's some deeply ingrained principles of coaching that we can seamlessly fit into our consulting practice and our consulting engagement. I'll talk about two of them really quickly. One, like a foundational to consulting, or to coaching rather, is this idea of coach position, which is like a neutral, detached, non-judgmental perspective from which to explore a situation or a system. And Erickson has some beautiful principles around what that coach position looks like. That in Erickson's methodology, it's applied at an individual level. What I find really useful is actually if you pull it out to an engagement level or a system level, it works just as well. So in coach position, you notice that the client is whole, that they're okay, and that we're not here to fix them. You notice that the client has the inner resources to be successful, that everything they're doing has positive intention. They're making the best possible choices in the moment, and that change is natural and it's happening in each moment. And so if you take those 5 principles of what coach position is and you think about it, and I've reflected on this, and you pull it out to the way that we work with our clients, with their team, their organization, and the system in which they operate, it's a powerful tool to approach our consulting with. And I've infused it in my methodology every time I'm working in, regardless of what kind of client I'm working with. The second part of coaching that is foundational to coaching is something that Nancy talked about, and that's the idea of powerful questions. And if we start from a place of curiosity and powerful questions, and those are really questions that are open, they're asked with curiosity, without agenda, they're meant to be in service of your client versus anything that you're bringing to the table, and they encourage reflection, then that is another really powerful coaching methodology tool approach that blends seamlessly with consulting. And I've really found that to be really useful. And then in terms of things that I've learned in my coaching training and coaching practice that have helped me to be a better consultant, I think there's like 5 really quick things that I've learned. I've learned one, to balance my expertise with my curiosity. And as consultants, clients are paying us for our expertise, and there is a time and a place for that. Especially when we're doing that data gathering or that that trend analysis, jurisdictional scans, competitive analysis, like that, we can't coach that away. Can't say, what do you think about that? But what I find when I'm doing that part of my work is I bring that to the table and then quickly move into more of a coaching approach to help my clients make sense by asking questions. What about that resonates with them? What are they noticing is missing? What from their expertise did they expect to see in there that they're not seeing or want to add into that? So really moving into a place of powerful questions very quickly after playing the expert role. Second, being comfortable in ambiguity and sometimes the messiness that comes with partnering with my clients to find their right path forward. Because we know as consultants, like the worst thing to see when I work in an engagement anyways, is to come back, a few months later and ask, how did that go, whatever that was, and not to have seen implementation. So partnering with my clients and finding their right path forward and maybe it's not the perfect idea that I might have come up with, but if it's something if it's change that they help to create, then the chance of implementation is much more likely to happen. So those are just some ways that I approach coaching and consulting and weave coaching philosophy into my consulting practice.
Thank you so much, Aska. I really appreciate you sharing how the two come together, coaching and consulting. And I'd like to pause here just to see what questions or thoughts you might have in the chat. I'll give it a few minutes, and if not, we'll move forward, but it's a good place to stop and just get your thoughts. I think we're good. And we'll keep an eye on it. I know Josette's keeping an eye on it as well. So thank you for that, Josette. All right. So Heidi Hamilton is on the call. Definitely a member with you, but she was also just awarded this beautiful Lifetime Award winner. I have never seen a better award for a better person in my life. So I'm super excited about that. Heidi actually has a podcast coming out on November 27th that I'd love to draw your attention to. So then you can both listen to Ashka's as well as Heidi's podcast to really learn even more about this. And they both have a different approach to it as well, which could be very helpful for you. Just pausing to see, Heidi, if there's anything you want to add.
No, all good. Thank you, Nancy. I did want to say, actually, the chat was disabled for me, but I did want to say for me, the coaching has been a core differentiator in winning business for me when people see that I do coaching as well as consulting. So just a note. I think Ashka, you and I had the same discussion.
Yeah. And I definitely, when I'm talking to people looking at our program, also I've done consultant work as well myself. People definitely like to see, or for us, different revenue streams, but also for them, how they can call on you for different means of professionalism as well. Thank you, Heidi. So with that, I just want to go a little bit into our programs. Of course, I'm happy to meet with any of you one-on-one to discuss this more and your specific goals. Happy to do that. But the Art and Science of Coaching really is the credential program with the International Coach Federation. And there would be level 1 or level 2, and it really depends on your goals. Level 1 is where you take the essentials course. It's our foundation course. It really teaches you how to have a solution-focused, effective conversation by the end of the essentials. You also would need 10 hours of mentoring for the International Coach Federation credential, should that be your goal. And so you would have 2 3.5-hour classes to include breaks of 7 hours, plus 3 one-on-ones with Erickson mentors of your choice. And it really goes by time zone and other things. You can look at their biographies to check. Once you have the coursework and you have the mentoring, you would prepare for your oral assessment, which you need to pass. You would get a nice package, a certificate, if you will, from Erickson, and you would have 100 hours of coaching to present to the International Coach Federation for an associate credentialed coach. Or you can go level 2 if you want to go even deeper, where it's the essentials, then the advanced course. You do a level 2 mentoring, and the difference in the level 2 mentoring is that you have 6 one-on-ones with mentors of your selection to really hear what's going well, what could be even better in your coaching recordings. Again, you pass the oral assessment. When you get 500 hours, you submit to the ICF. And of course, you can do one on the way to the other. We can definitely talk about you and your goals and what that would look like for you. And please, I know it's a lot of information. Many learners tell me every day, there's so much to learn about this. That's what I'm here for. I don't want you to have to go through that alone. I'm here to support you. So with that, this is so important, the value and the benefit of solution-focused coaching. We bring in neuroscience. So we actually spend 2 sessions on it, as well as, of course, it comes up in discussion quite frequently, really looking at What does tone of voice have to do with coaching? How does left brain, right brain respond? And how does that help our clients move forward? So there is some neuroscience that comes into play. Of course, we're always promoting possibilities, discovery, exploration of goals. I've seen my clients really, really complete many things that they felt was above and beyond what they ever expected. Like Ashka said, I don't ever put a judgment on. So for me, it's not that they raise the bar, but for themselves, that's what they share at the end of the session. There's definitely actionable items. I hear people say, coaching doesn't have actionable items. It absolutely does. So it's, what are you walking away with? How will you hold yourself accountable? And what's the learning that occurred that you could recall that in a future situation should it come up again? It's based on Milton Erickson's principles that really is positive psychology. Milton Erickson, if you ever want to explore him, he is a psychologist that got through to others, patients that nobody else could get through to. And our president and founder, Marilyn Atkinson, with the work and support of Milton Erickson together, really brought solution focus forward. Of course, since then, we've taken feedback from our facilitators, our partners, our learners, and at 45 years, it's even better. You get so many models, frameworks, and structures to really explore with your clients what's right for them in that moment. So many that sometimes my learners will say, I don't know which one to use, but with practice, that all comes. It is definitely advice free. We're asking questions and listening at a very deep level. It's client-centered partnership. It's all about the clients. As you go from ACC to PCC, it's even more about being that partner with the client and co-creating with them. And then we provide many tools and skills. There's manuals, there's videos to watch, there's discussion questions to respond to. So you're implementing in between the course about an hour a week to really help that implementation grow and learn and network with the others in your class. We also have what's called Erickson Plus for people that are completed with the class. It's a real big networking community with alumni, people in the program, so that you could really reach out on anything. How do I build my business, for example, and different things. So you're really part of an amazing community of wonderful, talented people throughout the world. And I really can't emphasize that enough, the caliber of the people in our program and what they bring. And then our CEO is offering as well. Her name's Louise, and she is Louise, sorry. She is offering Leading with Impact courses for leaders. We have Engage, Empower, Deliver, Presentation and Facilitation Excellent, Conflict Collaboration, and then any certified facilitator would also offer high performance team coaching. So just know that our facilitators and mentors come with lots of experience. They have their own practices. Plus, we go through a very rigorous program to make sure that you're getting somebody with a very good background in coaching and also a great successful business as well. But we could also offer Louise to come out to companies and really speak to your groups. And then we have our on-sites, which are now in the spring in Germany, coming up in the spring in Amsterdam, Mexico, or Italy. Some are the whole essential programs. Some are part one, where you would take part two online. So you could have the best of both worlds, if you will. I could definitely share that with you. I'm also going to ask Josette if you could put the online calendar and course brochure in the chat now, so you can see our online courses are constantly every month. And because we have people all over the world, there are different options. You can go on a Wednesday, you can go on a Saturday, you can go on a Friday, you can go twice a week, you could go once a week. So there's many opportunities for you. And thank you, Josette, for putting that in as well. And that's something I could explore with you too. What is right for you and your schedule should you make the decision to try Erickson? And then, of course, our partnership over 120 years, I really love now. And there's one on December 4th that you could join. If you're interested, I could send you the link to our webinars. It's on erickson.edu, upcoming webinars. And we now partner with the ICF and do webinars together. So the next one's December 4th. So if people are questioning, where do I go? What else do I have to do for my credential? While also exploring Erickson, it's a great partnership that we have. And I think these webinars are a phenomenal idea. So we do have one coming up soon that anybody can join. It's complimentary. And then, of course, you know that we support the ICF as much as they support us. We really take our core competencies seriously. We definitely start teaching the core competencies day one of essentials. So each time you log into class, you would see what competency you're focusing on. We take that even deeper when we get to the mentor bundle so that we're really focusing on it. In the mentor bundle, you might also see a mentor session so you could prepare for that as well. All right. And we don't want you to take our word for it. So these are more statistics of like this. The conference board, 67% of organizations use coaching as a key developmental tool for their leaders. You're hearing more and more about it. And you can see the other ones. I won't read them to you. The one at the bottom left, according to the recent study, coaching has 221% return on investment per the International Society for Performance Improvement. And as a coach, working in a business, I couldn't agree with that more. I definitely get invited to develop employees that are really looking to grow, but they're either in a stuck situation or they just need more developmental opportunities and a different way to look at it. And then I did see Josette put in the chat. We'd love to hear your questions. If you want to put them in the chat, or Josette, is it okay if they come off mute as well to share? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. If you want to come on and ask your question directly to Nancy, just raise your hand and I'll open up the mic for you. Yeah, thank you very much, Nancy, for that insightful presentation. It's very exciting to see the growth opportunities our members can find within Erickson Coaching. Yeah, as you mentioned, let's move on to the Q&A. I have a couple of questions now in the chat, so let's dive right in. This question comes from Lucian. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. How can coaching be non-judgmental when you need to make a judgment as to how to guide your client? So maybe Nancy or Ashka can address that question.
Ashka, did you want to go first? It's up to you.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's kind of like coaching isn't you don't use coaching in consulting engagements anyways, or I don't use coaching in consulting engagements when the time is actually when the what's called for right now is to make a judgment. That is, there's a big part of our consulting work that requires that. Having said that, there's also times where if we took a moment to ask questions, either even before we expressed our own judgment, then the end state that we might end up with our clients is stronger because of the conversations that we had before we infused our own judgment into it, or we infuse our judgment and then we open it up to some questions and dialogue and discussions, and then the decisions that are made after are stronger because of it. And so I gave that example in my so in the strategy work that I do, of course, the first step in my methodology, and very similar to others doing strategy, is going to be that whole understand phase, that scan phase where you're coming in and you're doing that data gathering, whatever that means, to help identify issues and opportunities. Of course, I will go and do that. I will present it. But unpacking that, I found if it stops at presentation and not opening it up to some carefully designed, powerful questions, when I've carefully designed powerful questions that builds on my judgment and infuses their own into it, then the strategy that we develop later in the process is stronger because of it. So time and a place, and for one or the other, and opportunities throughout consulting engagements to infuse and marry both.
Thank you, Ashka. And I would say, when you are in coach position, and I literally, before my coaching sessions, I literally sit up, I take a deep breath, and I just go in this neutral space. If you think about how judged people are on a continual basis, I've worked in a lot of leadership development, and sometimes I'm listening to leaders saying before they've even explored what's going on with their team member because they've seen it before, right? So I just go into this space where I'm in complete listening mode. There's no judgment. It's just what might it be specifically for that client in that moment at that time. And then I could help lead them and not lead them, but guide them with questioning to what they might come up with. So when I'm in my coaching, solution focused coaches mode, it's completely sticking to the principles that Ashka brought up because I really believe in them. They've changed me as a person, and just this neutral space, almost like we always say, I wish I was a fly on the wall. I feel like I am a fly on the wall. I'm just really observing everything from body language, tone of voice to what they're saying, and really asking them, I just noticed that there was a little change there for you, whether it's energy, tone, the same word being repeated. What might that mean to you? So now they can hear what sometimes when you're in it, you can't hear everything that you're a part of. And so it really helps them explore it more and walk away with that understanding. But there is definitely a time for consulting and there's a time for coaching. And when I say this openness, this neutral space, it's when I'm in coach mode for sure.
Thanks, Nancy. And I think Heidi also wanted to comment on that. And she says, knowing how and when to switch between coaching and consulting. I use coaching as the data gathering exercise and understanding of what they see might be the solution, hence solution focused. So thank you, Heidi, for that as well. And thank you, Lucian, for your question.
Thank you.
This next question comes from Kathy. Do you acknowledge past coaching certifications and experience?
We do. Sometimes if it's with another school or it's been a while because the levels have now changed with the ICF, we might have, we have to look at what you bring, but we might have somebody review the essentials course at like 50% off. So it's not even your 30, it would be 50, just to get our verbiage down, like we do logical levels or different things that we explore neurologically, how the brain works and how we ask questions. So just to get everybody up to speed on that, and then recognizing that experience that you bring, we go forward from there. But sometimes we do ask for somebody to review the course at half the price, just to get that Ericksonian verbiage in.
All right, thank you, Nancy. And thank you, Kathy, for your question.
Thank you, Kathy.
Our next question is, for the hours counted, again, do they go forward or can you get credit for the past coaching hours?
With Erickson, would that be, or in general?
I think it's in general, but if our anonymous attendee can, in general, yes, in general.
Okay. So how I'm taking that, and I'm coached, so I don't like to make any assumptions. So that's why I'm asking more questions. And please tell me if I'm correct, you can come off mute if you want. But if you have coaching hours, oh, are you talking about the coaching log? I'm real curious.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So it depends how long it's been, and we could explore that together to see what you have on your coaching log, how long it's been. The ICF has certain deadlines or timelines that we would adhere to at Erickson as well as the ICF. So that's something I'd like to explore with you together. We have an incredible customer service team too that's really good at that as well.
Thanks, Nancy. Follow-up question from Lucian. Can you provide an example of ambiguity that you worked to be comfortable with?
Oh yeah, it takes practice. I'm really glad you asked that question because so many people come with different skills. I was a performance coach, so I told people what to do and got paid for it. It was really hard at first to come in and just listen at a different level. And some of you might experience that at all. Again, I don't make any assumptions, but I had to get really comfortable with that the clients have the resources inside them to be successful. And so there was a time that it really hit me when I was teaching. I thought, wow, all those years where I got paid and I did my job to tell people what to do. Basically, I hate to put it that way, but that's what I did. I gave my insight and my advice, which I don't put down at all because there is a time and place for it. I just wonder, though, what they might have come up with themselves. I should have asked, here's what I think, because I wasn't a consultant, I was a performance coach. What might you think? And I didn't do that. And so that was hard to get used to. I had to practice a lot my listening skills, as well as knowing that I'm not the one with the answers, that I could ask clients, and they really do. Because we ask questions differently than anybody might have in their life, of course you do, but a lot of times their leaders or their team members or their family don't. And so now they have to think differently, and I have to give them time to reflect and really realize what it might be that they're looking for or expanding to. And it's hard. You have to get very comfortable with that, but it takes practice. And definitely I listen at a different level. I'm a different person than I used to be. But I'm happy for that because I've seen what my clients, what my colleagues, what my family has responded to differently because of that.
And I think there's this piece, I'm not sure, is my mute off?
No, you're good.
Okay. I think there's a difference between, like, there's not an abdication of responsibility as a consultant, right? A peer coach is quite different. We're talking here about consultants pairing coaching approaches to their work. I'm rigorous around, methodology in whatever it is that I do in my consulting practice. I'm rigorous around agenda design. I'm rigorous around research, where I infuse a lot of coaching principles in it is in the way that I implement agendas and even designing entire agendas and entire methodology around what's the question that we're trying to answer at each step of a particular engagement, and starting from the place of questions versus starting from the place of feeling like you have to have the answer. And that's what I mean about being comfortable in the ambiguity, because I'm not sure exactly where things are going to go, but I trust my methodology. I trust my engagement design and my agenda design and the design of my powerful questions. And while the point A to point B rarely is a straight line, point B is a better destination because of the questions. And that's what I mean by, and not only is it a better destination, we actually get there. And the client actually, is in the driver's seat. So implement transition, we talk about change management and implementation, filling the implementation gap. That I found infusing a coaching approach helps not solve, but address both implementation gap and change management quite nicely.
And as Ashka's talking, I'm like, I could even deepen my consultant skills even more, right? To have a balance the other way as well. It goes definitely both ways. What other questions might you have?
So I think that is the last question we have in the Q&A for now. Let me see the chat. We don't see any more questions in the chat, Nancy.
Thank you. Well, I do want to let you know that I would be your contact. It's just easier to have one point of contact. So the nice thing that Erickson is doing, which is really amazing, actually, Ashka and I were talking about it, 30% off all training, which is really a wonderful offer for you because of our partnership. So you could visit this scanning page, fill in the interest form, it will come to me, or you can see my email there directly, nancyboyer@erickson.edu. I'm really here to hear your story, see what might be right for you. There's no obligation, but how can we partner together to really help change the world, support people so that they can grow even more? And I'm really thankful, Josette and Ashka, for your participation, Heidi for yours as well, and to all of you for your time, because I know you have a lot on your plate, but I promise you, I didn't know the difference this would make for me and my business. And for others that I can support. It's even more than I ever thought. So I'm really happy to share it with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nancy. That was very insightful. And thank you, Ashka, as well, for sharing your experience with both organizations. Really appreciate it. Yeah, so I think with that, we we have come to an end for this session. If you would like to learn more about Erickson Coaching and our partnership, I'm gonna add a link in the chat. You can go there and visit our Affinity Partners page and learn more from this partnership. Also, if you have questions, you can reach out to us or to Nancy to her email address that you can see right there in the slides right now. On behalf of CMC Canada, thank you very much for attending to this session today. I really hope that this session was very informative to you and that you now know what Erickson Coaching has to offer and how you can benefit from this partnership. Thanks again to our speakers today, Nancy, Ashka. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And yeah, if after the session the attendees have any questions, just let us know. We will follow up with an email as well with the recording of this session. It will be up in YouTube, and that email will contain the link to the recording. So stay tuned for that. Have a great day, everyone, and we look forward to seeing you at future webinars.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.